Stejčak tombstones. These petrified witnesses of time are the most valuable and most widespread cultural heritage monument of the Middle Ages. They are special and unique, not only by their form and monolithic nature, but as a unique way of medieval man's cultural socio-economic expression. They mainly emerged within the borders of the Bosnian medieval state and the bordering regions of neighboring states. Today, Stejčak tombstones constitute a common cultural heritage of 4 countries: Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Serbia and Montenegro. Through a joint project, these countries now bid for Stejčak tombstones to be included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. Stejčak tombstones are monolithic stone monuments of medieval sacred culture and art. They have been preserved in the entire territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as parts of Serbia, Montenegro and Croatia. Being prevalent in these countries, Stejčak tombstones represent a connective tissue that bonds people, lands and time. They are a peculiar phenomenon and a specific synthesis of language and script, region and customs, history and chronology, as well as culture and art and aesthetics. These old, almost ancient witnesses of time are preserved in the people's collective memory under the names of marble stones, machete, Greek tombstones, old tombs, Kaursko graveyard, non-Muslim graveyard, and giant rocks. Epitaphs engraved in Stejčak tombstones also note a few names for the monument, such as Bilik, Kam, Zlamen, Kuća, house, and Vječni dom, eternal home. The use of the term Stejčak goes back to recent history and is metaphor for the monument's endurance, strength, and its persistent monolithic nature. The term Stejčak is derived from the term Stoječak, standing, enduring. The artistic, cultural and also historical value of Stejčak tombstones is founded on their form and the visual content of their relief motifs, whereas the inscriptions on Stejčak tombstones contain either records of historical events and names of the families and medieval dignitaries, or deep and meaningful messages to the living of invaluable significance. Stejčak tombstones are commonly found in groups and concentrated in necropolises. However, there are also individual specimens. These necropolises are organized units with rows and proper alignment in the cardinal directions. Within these necropolises organized, there are often separate groups belonging to certain families and numbering only a few tombstones. Of special significance are necropolises representing certain noble families, the elite of the feudal society, such as like the Radimlja necropolis near Stolac. The crucial and inevitable question indeed remains: why is this Stejčak sepulchral art so strongly rooted mainly in the territory of the Bosnian kingdom? The fact that tombstones are prevailingly found in a purely Illyrian territory is a valuable indication for future research. There, in the territory of the ancient Illyria, the influence of the Mediterranean and the Pannonian cultural spheres have reflected and intersected since ancient times, as did the influence of the Byzantine East and Latin West in later stages. Filtered through deeply rooted traditions and thought, intellectual and emotional patterns, these influences resulted in the unique phenomenon of stage. Modern research places the chronological appearance of stage within a broad time frame between the second half of 12th century and the 13th century, whereas most stage tombstones emerged in the 14th and 15th century, the period known in history of art as the stage blooming period. Stage tombstones were also carved during the first half of the 16th century, when this art gradually started to disappear. The first comprehensive census, lasting from 1951 to 1969, established scientifically the number and distribution of stage tombstones. According to current information, there are a total of 3,300 sites containing 70,000 monuments. In Bosnia and Herzegovina alone, there are 2,687 sites with around 60,000 tombstones. In Croatia, around 400 sites with 4,400 tombstones. In Serbia, 203 sites with 4,100 tombstones, and in Montenegro, there are 107 sites with 3,500 tombstones. In regards to their placement on the graves, there are two types of stage tombstones, vertical and horizontal. There are 6 types with regard to their shape: ridge, sljemenjak; coffin, sanduk; slab, ploča; column, stup or obelisk, cross, krstača; and nishan, traditional Muslim grave marker shape. Most tombstones are horizontally placed, and most widespread are the coffin-shaped, constituting over 60% of all tombstones. Ridge-shaped and coffin-shaped stage tombstones often include a pedestal carved along with the tombstone. However, there are also examples where stage tombstones were placed on the pedestal as a separate object. A stage ornamentation reveals the beliefs and sentiments of an entire epoch, both of people who participated in the making of stages and of the deceased who found their final destination underneath and who, according to some inscriptions, had instructed the masons on the carvings. The most frequent decorative motif was a small twining vine with clovers, followed by edging made of oblique and zigzag lines, then spirals and plant depictions, spiral-shaped ribbons, arcades, the symbolic religious motifs of the cross, the crescent, the star of rosette, followed by shields with swords, images of deer and horses, and depictions of circle dance and tournaments. Noticeable among artistic symbols are the scenes of a posthumous circle dance. This dance, depicted on stage acts, most likely is a part of the funeral ritual, which in some cases is accompanied by nice games and fights. Solar and lunar motifs of the cross, and the twining vine with clovers are common to nearly all areas where stage-act tombstones are found. The inscriptions on stage-act tombstones, the epitaphs, represent one of the most important testimonies about event and notable persons, such as the inscription on stage-act of Vigan Milošević, citing a whole series of historical events. Here lies Vigan Milošević, who served Ban Stipan and King Tvrtko, and King Dabisha and Queen Gruba and King Ostoja. In this time, King Ostoja clashed with Herceg and with Bosnia, and Ostoja went to fight the Hungarians. In this time, the final hour came to me, Vigan, and I laid in my noble land in Kočerina, and I beg you, do not tread on me. I was like you are, and you will be like I am. The inscriptions on stage acts were written in Bosnian Cyrillic script, an important source of the research of the script and language. The inscriptions also serve as a reliable basis for determining the date of the stage act's creation and their development. Most epitaphs, over 300 of them, are located in Bosnia and Herzegovina, particularly in the vicinity of towns of Trebinje, Bileća, Gacko and Stolac. The necropolis of Boljuni near Stolac contains the largest number of epitaphs, as many as 19. Out of 2,687 sites in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the following 22 necropolises have been submitted to UNESCO's tentative list. Stage-act necropolis in Radimlja, Stolac. Stage-act necropolis in Biskup Konjic. Stage-act necropolis in Kalufi, Nevesinje. Stage-act necropolis in Borak, village of Burati, Rogatica. Stage-act necropolis in Maculje, Novi Travnik. Stage-act necropolis in Dugopolje, Jablanica. Stage-act necropolis in Gvozno, Kalinovik. Stage-act necropolis in Grebnice, Bunčići. In the village of Radmilovića, Dubrava, Bileća. Stage-act necropolis in Bijača, Ljubuški. Stage-act necropolis in Olovci, Kladanj. Stage-act necropolis in Mramorin, Musići, Olovo. Stage-act necropolis in Stare kuće, Donje Breške, Tuzla. Stage-act necropolis in Kučarin, Donje Polje, near the village of Žilići, Goražde. Stage-act necropolis in Boljuni, Stolac. Stage-act necropolis in Umoljani, Trnovo. Stage-act necropolis in Luburića Polje, Sokolac. Stage-act necropolis in Potkuk, Bitunja, Berkovići. A Stejčak necropolis in Mramorjek in the village of Buđ Pale, a Stejčak necropolis in the village of Bečani Šejkovići, a Stejčak necropolis in Mramor Crkvina u Vrbici Foča, a Stejčak necropolis in Čengića Bara Kalinovik, a Stejčak necropolis in Ravanjska Vrata Kupres. These 22 necropolises contain 3,341 Stejčaks of all known shapes. 473 of these Stejčaks contain almost all recorded relief forms, which makes them illustrative on the entire Stejčak cultural heritage in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Each of the submitted necropolises, in a distinctive and inimitable way, represents a specific individuality having scientific, cultural and artistic distinction from all other necropolises. Out of its 107 sites, Montenegro submitted the following 3 necropolises: Necropolis Grčko groblje Novakovići, Necropolis Žugića Bare Novakovići, Necropolis Grčko groblje Šćepan Polje. The 3 necropolises contain a total of 363 Stejčaks, of which 45 contain ornaments. The most common decorative motifs are arcades, twisted ribbons, friezes, frames, edgings with oblique parallel lines, twining vines with clovers. There are few rosettes, crescents and circles. The original motifs are a frieze made of arches with garlands and a mender made of twisted and twining vines with acanthus leaves, as well as architectural arcade-shaped decorations. A carved epitaph was found on one of the coffin-shaped Stejčaks in the Grčko groblje necropolis. Out of its 203 recorded sites, Serbia submitted the following 3 necropolises: Necropolis in Mramorje Perućac, Necropolis in Mramorje Rastište, and Grčko groblje necropolis Hrta. The 3 submitted necropolises contain a total of 191 Stejčaks. The Stejčak tombstones are well made and the necropolises have been restored and preserved. On the side of larger coffin-shaped Stejčaks, there are relief arcades, making them similar to the decorated coffin-shaped Stejčaks in Montenegro and in Herzegovina. Out of the 400 sites recorded in Croatia, this country submitted the following 2 necropolises to the tentative list: Necropolis in Velika Crljivica and Mala Crljivica Cista Velika, and Necropolis Dubravka Sveta Barbara Konavle. The 2 necropolises contain a total of 174 Stejčak tombstones in the shape of coffin, ridge and slab. Among the motifs found in necropolises submitted by Croatia are crosses in all different shapes, anthropomorphic lilies, scenes of hunting, circles, dance and duels, different botanical motifs, chestnuts, stars, and hemispheres. Inscriptions are partly preserved on two Stejak tombstones. Stejaks have thus survived a time-lapse of arrivals and departures of great empires, states, ideologies and politics, and have nevertheless remained strong, petrified witnesses of time. The regional project of the four countries which inherit and nurture this common cultural heritage to include Stejak tombstones in UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites demonstrates their resolution to preserve Stejaks as rare and valuable monuments for the generations to come.